Hi there, Paul Brennan, Bring Our Birds Home, Wednesday the 30th of August. Let's have a video update. I've just heard from our representative in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, Cesar Nogueira. Cesar tells me that before the 11th of September he will be travelling to Manaus to meet with the management of Infraero, the company that own Manaus Airport, where our DC-8, the former ZK-NZC, delivered in '65 and the only original Air New Zealand DC-8 left on the planet. It's been at Manaus Airport derelict since the early 2000s. You'll know that if you've been following the story. Cesar informs me that we now can understand the fees and taxes that might have accumulated against that asset as it's been sitting there. And we also understand the scrap value. So we are close to having a position to open negotiations with. And it shouldn't be too long before we sort of know if we're going to achieve that part of the mission. I want to thank Cesar for his good work in getting as far as he has and now pinning down basically a date range for a meeting. And in the end, if we can't come to some sort of agreement on this basis, the airport company will be faced with spending money themselves to scrap this airframe. I don't think they really want to do that if they have the opportunity to sell it and make some money. So I'm feeling quietly positive, though I always like to keep it real and not get too far ahead of myself or ourselves, and that's worked for us quite well so far. So, so far so good. We're getting into the position. Our representative will be in Manaus before the 11th of September. That's only, what, a week and a half away. So we'll quietly sit here with our fingers crossed, knowing that we have good support. Thank you so much to those supporting the campaign, especially to those who have been donating. We've had about $1,000 come in the last few days. Almost $7,000 donated to Bring Our Birds Home. We might have to call on some more, modest donations in the next few weeks, especially when we find out where we're going after the 11th of September. It might be that we need to send some more people up there and that things might have to move quickly. When it comes to purchasing the airframe, as I've mentioned in previous updates, as soon as we know that we are close to achieving that part of the mission, the campaign will be moved to a more orthodox sort of legal footing. So the transparency required is there. And we also have then a platform to move forward to broaden out to the wider goal of saving, recovering, securing, and eventually displaying those 5 airframes of national significance. So that's the DC-8. We're going to start working on the DC-10 in the next week or so. It's now the end of August, and if you remember, I mentioned that Mario, the ambassador from Cuba to New Zealand, mentioned that this time of the year was vacation time. It was difficult to get big decisions from anyone because they're actually out of the office. That's changing back to a regular pattern now, so hopefully we can continue those discussions and make some progress on that DC-10. And we're also looking at how we can get that 737 NQC from Canada back to New Zealand sooner than later. We're working on a creative, what I call a creative entrepreneurial idea to fly it back and to make that pay. So watch that space. A bit of work has to be done yet. We have to understand fully the condition of the aircraft, any work that needs to be done maintenance-wise, any certification issues, regulatory issues that might exist. But once we understand that and we can see the opportunity, we'll sort of press the go button a bit harder and try and get that aircraft back sooner than later, bearing in mind that after a period of time, flying it again becomes a big problem. And while it's still recoverable, we want to be able to utilize the availability of that aircraft, if it can fly, to maybe help out in the campaign and to create a moment that helps things along and gets the aircraft back here, as I say, sooner than later. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, the Give a Little page is open at givealittle.co.nz/cause/Bring Our Birds Home. Thank you for the contribution of images. Some fantastic ones have come in. You'll see those posted shortly. Also, great video engagement to those who've been sharing the videos. Really appreciate that. It gets the message out. And I'll be back with another video update on Bring Our Birds Home just as soon as I have any new information. In the meantime, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.